Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Z Consulting Podcast. We're diving into something that I think is on a lot of people's minds these days, starting a home-based business. And we've got a treasure trove of ideas straight from the source. 50 great home-based business ideas. And I can't wait to kind of unpack it all with you.
It's fascinating how the landscape of work is changing, isn't it? This source really highlights the growing appeal of ditching the traditional 9 to 5 and building something of your own right from home.
Yeah, and who wouldn't love the flexibility and the freedom that comes with being your own boss? Before we get lost in a sea of possibilities, though, I do want to get your take on this whole work-from-home explosion. Like, what's fueling this trend? And is it really as sustainable as everyone says it is?
Well, technology has certainly played a huge role. We've got all these amazing tools now that let you run a business from virtually anywhere. Video conferencing, project management software, online marketing platforms. It's incredible. But beyond the tech lie, I think it also reflects a shift in our values. People are craving more autonomy, more control over their time and their lives. A home-based business can offer that, but it's not a magic bullet. This source makes it clear that there are challenges too. Things like staying disciplined, managing your time effectively, and separating your work life from your home life, which can be tough when your office is also your living room.
That's very true. For now, I want to get into the fun stuff. This source is packed with business ideas, and some of them are surprisingly unexpected.
Yeah, definitely. There's something in here for everyone, regardless of your interests or skill set.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out a few that caught my eye, and I'd love to hear your initial thoughts. First up is drop shipping. It seems like everyone's talking about it these days. What exactly is it, and what makes it stand out as a home-based business idea?
So dropshipping is essentially a retail fulfillment model where you don't keep the products you sell in stock. Imagine running an online store, but instead of packing and shipping orders yourself, you partner with the supplier who handles all of that.
So you're kind of like a middleman connecting customers with products, without the overhead of inventory or warehousing.
Exactly. And that's a huge advantage, especially for someone starting out. Lower risk, potentially lower startup costs, and you can easily test different product ideas without a huge financial investment.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like a great way to dip your toes into the world of e-commerce without diving in head first. Okay, next up, subscription boxes. What's the appeal from a business perspective?
It's all about recurring revenue. Instead of one-off purchases, you're creating a loyal customer base who pays you regularly for a curated experience. And the beauty is you can build a subscription box around almost anything, whether it's beauty products, craft supplies, snacks, pet treats, you name it.
I've seen some pretty unique ones out there. There's one that sends you a different hot sauce every month, and another that delivers curated boxes of crystals and spiritual tools. It's amazing how creative people are getting with these.
It really is. What's fascinating is how subscription boxes tap into our desire for surprise and discovery. There's something inherently delightful about receiving a box full of goodies that you didn't specifically choose yourself.
It's like giving yourself a present every month.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears completely. Dog grooming. Who would have thought?
Well, as a dog lover myself, I can tell you the pet industry is booming. People are pampering their furry friends like never before, and dog grooming is a service that will always be in demand.
Right. Those pups need to stay looking sharp. But what I find interesting about this idea is the potential to offer mobile services. Instead of having a brick and mortar shop, you could go directly to clients' homes.
Exactly. Mobile grooming is a great way to stand out, especially if you target busy pet owners who value convenience. And you can even expand your services to include things like nail trimming, teeth cleaning, and even ear care.
It's like a spa day for dogs. Okay, another one that caught my eye was virtual assistant services. It seems like every entrepreneur I know is looking for an extra pair of hands these days. What's driving this demand?
It's simple. Businesses are increasingly reliant on technology, and everyone is feeling overwhelmed. Virtual assistants can handle a wide range of tasks, from scheduling appointments and managing emails to creating social media content and even bookkeeping.
So essentially, you're taking on those administrative tasks that bog people down
Yes.
and freeing them up to focus on the bigger picture of their business.
Precisely. And what's fascinating here is how this business model has been completely transformed by technology. You can literally work with clients anywhere in the world, all from the comfort of your own home.
That's amazing. And I bet it's particularly appealing to people who thrive on organization and enjoy helping others.
Okay, last one for this round. Landscaping. This one might seem like a bit of a departure from the other online-based ideas, but I think it has a lot of potential. I agree. Landscaping is a service that will always be in demand. People want their outdoor spaces to look beautiful, And they're willing to pay for it.
Absolutely. And what I find interesting is the opportunity to specialize in eco-friendly landscaping practices,
Hmm,
using native plants, water-saving techniques, maybe even incorporating edible gardens. It feels very aligned with current trends towards sustainability.
that's a great point. Eco-conscious consumers are looking for businesses that share their values. And that extends to landscaping. So if you're passionate about the environment, this could be a fantastic way to combine your passion with a profitable business.
Love it. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground with these ideas, and I'm already feeling inspired. But before we go any further, I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for this episode, Nidus Lab. If you're looking for help with anything tech-related, from AI agents to web apps to software development, those are the folks to talk to. Find them at www.niduslab.com. Before we get too carried away, brainstorming, business names and logos, we need to talk about the bottom line. Yeah, you're right. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new idea. But ultimately, a business needs to be profitable. And our source actually dives into this a bit, mentioning that some of the most potentially profitable home-based ventures are things like affiliate marketing, dropshipping, freelance writing, and online tutoring. But it also cautions that profitability hinges on demand and profit margins. So what makes these specific businesses so potentially profitable? And how can someone listening figure out if their own brilliant idea has that kind of money-making magic?
Well, for starters, many of these businesses have low overhead. You don't need a fancy storefront or a warehouse full of inventory, which means your profit margins have the potential to be higher. But more importantly, these businesses tap into markets with massive online demand. People are constantly searching for information, products, and services online, so the potential customer base is huge.
So it's about finding a niche with high demand and then figuring out how to stand out from the competition.
Exactly. And it's not just about finding a niche, it's about understanding the value you offer within that niche. Let's take freelance writing, for example. If you're a skilled writer who specializes in a high demand area, like technical writing or medical writing, you can command higher rates because you're offering specialized knowledge and expertise. So think about your own skills and interests. What problems can you solve? What value can you offer that people are willing to pay for?
That's such a great point. It's not enough to just be good at something. You need to be able to articulate the value you bring to the table
Yeah.
and position yourself as an expert.
Absolutely. And that leads to another crucial element of profitability, which is pricing. You need to price your products or services strategically. Too low and you're undervaluing your expertise. Too high and you might price yourself out of the market. It's a balancing act.
I imagine market research is a big part of that, right? Understanding what your competitors are charging
Mhm.
and what customers are willing to pay.
Exactly. Thorough market research is essential for any business, especially a home-based one, where you might not have the same brand recognition as a larger company. You need to know your audience, their needs, and their price sensitivity.
This all makes so much sense. Now, another thing that caught my eye in the source was a section on home-based businesses geared towards local markets. Things like becoming a local marketing consultant, starting a home-based bakery, doing home repair and maintenance, becoming a local tour guide, even selling local products online. I love the idea of building a business that's rooted in your community.
Me too. It's about tapping into the unique needs and desires of your local area. Think about the things that make your community special. What are the local traditions? What are people passionate about? What gaps exist in the market that a home-based business could fill?
I imagine it also fosters a sense of connection and community pride. It's not just about making a profit, it's about contributing something valuable to the place you call home.
Exactly. It's about creating a business that not only serves your customers, but also enriches your community. And that can be incredibly rewarding.
So let's say you're listening to this and you're passionate about your community. How could you leverage these local business ideas to make a positive impact?
Well, imagine you're a skilled baker with a secret family recipe for the most delicious apple pie. You could start a home-based bakery using locally sourced ingredients and sharing those delicious pies with your neighbors. Or maybe you have a knack for home repair and a passion for historic preservation. You could offer your services to homeowners in your area, helping them restore and maintain their beautiful old homes.
Those are great examples. It's amazing how you can take something you're passionate about and turn it into a business that not only benefits you, but it also makes your community a better place.
And let's not forget the power of the internet. Even if you're focused on a local market, you can leverage online platforms to reach a wider audience. Social media, local online marketplaces, even a simple website can help you connect with potential customers in your area.
It's all about finding creative ways to combine your passions with the needs of your community. and then using technology to amplify your reach.
Absolutely. Now, our source also touches on a few other factors that go beyond just having a great idea. Things like legal requirements, marketing, and those ever-present challenges, like achieving work-life balance, all of which can make or break a business.
Right. And these are things that often get overlooked in the initial excitement of starting a business. Why are these points so important?
Well, let's start with the legal stuff. It's easy to think, oh, I'm just working from home, it's not a big deal. But the reality is, even if you're a solopreneur working from your kitchen table, you still need to make sure you're operating legally.
So things like choosing the right business structure, getting the necessary permits and licenses, understanding your tax obligations, those are all crucial even for a home-based business.
Absolutely. Choosing the wrong business structure, for example, could expose you to personal liability. And ignoring tax obligations can lead to hefty fines and penalties down the road. It's much better to do your due diligence up front and make sure you're on solid legal footing from the start.
That makes sense. So where can someone go to get this kind of information? I imagine it can be overwhelming trying to navigate all the legal complexities.
There are lots of resources available. The Small Business Administration, or SBA, is a great place to start. They offer free counseling and resources to help entrepreneurs navigate the legal and regulatory landscape. You can also consult with an attorney who specializes in small business law.
It's definitely worth investing the time and effort to get it right. Okay, what about marketing? I imagine it's a bit different when you're running a home-based business, as opposed to a traditional brick-and-mortar store.
It is. With a home-based business, you don't have the advantage of foot traffic or a prominent storefront, so you need to get creative with your marketing efforts.
So things like social media marketing, content marketing, networking, those are all important tools for a home-based business owner.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of word-of-mouth marketing, especially for local businesses, building relationships with your community, and providing excellent customer service can go a long way in generating positive buzz and attracting new clients.
It's all about building trust and creating a loyal customer base.
Exactly. And remember, marketing is an ongoing process. It's not something you do once and then forget about. You need to constantly be finding ways to reach your target audience and stay top of mind.
So consistency and adaptability are key. Now let's talk about that elephant in the room. Work-life balance. It's something we all struggle with, but it seems especially tricky when your office is also your home.
It definitely can be. One of the biggest challenges of working from home is setting boundaries. It's easy to let work bleed into your personal life, especially when you're passionate about what you do. But it's crucial to establish a clear separation between work time and personal time.
What are some practical tips for doing that?
Well, creating a dedicated workspace is a good place to start. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. But having a separate space for work can help you mentally shift gears and get into work mode. And then, when you're done for the day, you can physically leave that space and transition back into your personal life.
So it's about creating those physical and mental boundaries.
Exactly. And it's also important to establish a regular work schedule, even if you have the flexibility to set your own hours. Having a routine can help you stay focused and productive.
I imagine it also helps to communicate those boundaries to family and friends, letting them know when you're available for work and when you're not.
Absolutely. Clear communication is key. And don't forget to schedule breaks throughout the day. Get up and move around. Step away from your computer. Do something that helps you relax and recharge.
Those are all great tips, and I think it's important to remember that work-life balance is a journey, not a destination.
It is. It's about finding what works for you and constantly adjusting as needed.
And being kind to yourself along the way. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. From exploring the allure of home-based businesses to diving into specific ideas, talking about profitability, local impact, and those crucial factors that can make or break a business.
It's been an incredibly insightful conversation. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought.
You know, our source really just scratches the surface when it comes to potential home-based business ideas.
It does. It's amazing how many different paths there are to starting a business from home these days. Everything from becoming a personal trainer or yoga instructor to starting a home-based catering business or offering freelance design services. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming just trying to choose an idea.
It can be. So beyond the specific ideas, what are some key things someone should consider when making that decision?
Well, first and foremost, you need to think about your target market. Who are you trying to reach? What are their needs and wants? And how can you tailor your product or service to meet those needs?
So it's not just about choosing something you're passionate about. It's about finding an audience, who's also passionate about that thing and who's willing to pay for it.
Exactly. And that leads into the next crucial consideration, which is the financial side of things. How much money do you need to get started? What are your projected expenses? How long can you realistically operate without turning a profit? These are all questions you need to answer before you jump in head first.
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new idea, but it's crucial to be realistic about the financial implications. Starting a business is an investment, and like any investment, it comes with risks.
Right. And speaking of risks, we can't forget about those pesky legal requirements we touched on earlier. Those are essential even for a home-based business.
You're absolutely right. What are some of the common legal pitfalls that home-based business owners should be aware of?
One of the biggest mistakes people make is choosing the wrong business structure. Whether you operate as a sole proprietorship, a partnership, an LLC, or a corporation, it will have significant implications for your liability, taxes, and even your ability to raise capital.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You really need to understand the pros and cons of each structure and choose the one that best suits your specific business needs.
Exactly. And then there are things like zoning regulations, business licenses, and permits. These vary depending on your location and the type of business you're running, so it's crucial to do your research and make sure you're in compliance.
It sounds daunting, but I imagine it's worth it to avoid potential headaches down the road.
It definitely is. And the good news is there are resources available to help you navigate these complexities.
Yeah.
Organizations like the Small Business Administration or SBA and SCORE offer free counseling and workshops on these topics.
Great resources. Now, beyond the legal and financial considerations, what other advice would you give to someone who's just starting out with a home-based business?
I would say, don't underestimate the importance of building a strong online presence. This means having a professional website, being active on social media, engaging with your target audience, and building a solid reputation online.
It makes sense. In today's digital world, your online presence is often the first impression you make on potential customers.
It is. And it's not just about having a pretty website. It's about creating valuable content, sharing your expertise, and building relationships with your audience.
It's all about creating a brand that people trust and want to engage with.
Absolutely. And speaking of engagement, remember that online marketing is a two-way street. It's not just about broadcasting your message. It's about listening to your audience, responding to their questions, and building a community around your brand.
It's about creating a conversation, not just a monologue.
Exactly. Now, one final piece of advice I would give to any aspiring home-based entrepreneur is this: stay organized and manage your time effectively.
I imagine that's especially challenging when you're working from home with all the potential distractions.
It definitely is. It's easy to get sidetracked by household chores, family obligations, or even just the allure of Netflix.
So how do you stay focused and productive when your office is also your living room?
Well, we've already talked about the importance of creating a dedicated workspace and setting a regular work schedule, but beyond that, it's also about using tools and techniques to help you stay organized. Things like project management software, time tracking apps, and even just a simple to-do list can make a huge difference.
It's about finding systems that work for you and sticking to them.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to ask for help. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't be afraid to delegate tasks or outsource to a virtual assistant.
That's such great advice. Delegation is a superpower, and it's often the key to staying sane when you're running your own business.
It is, and it allows you to focus on your strengths and the things that you truly enjoy doing.
Well said. This has been such an insightful deep dive into the world of home-based businesses.
Yeah.
So many great ideas, so much to think about.
It really has been a fascinating exploration, and I hope it's inspired you listening to take that leap and pursue your own entrepreneurial dreams.
Me too. And remember, the most important ingredient in any successful business, whether it's home-based or not, is passion. If you're excited about what you're doing, it will show in your work. And that's what will ultimately attract customers and drive success.
Absolutely. So go out there, find your passion, build that dream business, and remember, we're here to support you every step of the way.
We release new episodes every Wednesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Thank you for tuning in to the Z Consulting Podcast, where we discuss the ins and outs of business. Looking forward to having you join us again.